As you can see here, he is playing Mikanko.
Yeah, I mean, credit where credit is due. This strategy was popularized by Eddeception at the last YCS, playing this Mikanko turn 1 strategy. Typically, you would assume it's like a go second sort of OTK deck, but no. Incorporating some really unconventional strategies in here. The brand new Ken and Jen, as we've seen from the latest core set, is being played by Simon. That allows you to give your opponent a monster, trigger some powerful abilities, as well as link up into Geonator Transverser. The win condition based on Acid Golem, a staple in Burning Abyss 9 years ago. And we see it back here as you give it to your opponent with the Geonator Transverser, and they cannot special summon, is how this deck works. And I guess we'll see if Simon can pull it off. A singular Rota. Oh, that's huge.
Main deck draw and lock.
Main deck, yeah.
Don't see it every day, but...
And by the way, Alessandro is playing Rikka.
Yeah.
It's a quite a popular deck, shall we say, in Europe. It seems to be just unbelievably resilient in this circuit here. But yeah, let's see if Simon's deck can do anything through reinforcement of the army. What did he actually add with the Rota? I think I missed it.
I think it was either Ken.
Yeah, one of them.
One of the Jenkins?
Yeah, Jen or Ken, I think. Pretty sure. And yeah, this troll in the main deck is certainly something you don't expect to see.
Troll and Lockbird, as we mentioned a few rounds ago, for those of you tuning in here, in terms of the highest population of... that's not ideal. Oof. Oh, right. Ooh, okay. Okay. Time Wizard play here of T-set pass. That's how ritual decks kind of go. You really... Okay. Plant players are just so good. This is amazing. Draw a Lockbird into unexpected dice, special summon Lokai out of the deck here. Let's take a look at Simon's list here, see if there's any hand traps or something, because he's going to really need it.
He's going to be in trouble because no hand traps in the main deck.
Ah,
wow.
Yes.
No hand traps in the main deck.
This is not ideal.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, he's just going to pick up the cards. It's okay. Acid Golem interaction, but I do find it kind of strange that we actually play There Can Be Only One, because I feel like if you're going to establish that combo, then what does it really do?
Yeah.
But I guess maybe it's like a backup plan, specifically in the instances where you get drolled. Yeah, you just flip There Can Be Only One, and you're in a pretty decent spot here. So anyway, Simon is going to start up here, and well, if we activate any sort of search card, which probably is going to be likely in a ritual deck, so it'll be interesting to see if Alessandro has opened it once again. Special summon Fenrir, probably not using the... Okay, we are going to use the effect here. And this is where we have to hold and see if our opponent responds on resolution here. Adding
and it is again!
Okay!
Wow. Okay.
Troll and Lockbird, 2 games in a row on the resolution here of Fenrir. The crowd went a little bit wild there. You guys enjoy that? Yeah, Troll and Lockbird? Nice, all right. Let's see if Simon can do anything to proceed through this. I mean, it's just really hard, specifically in a deck like, rituals, that typically you have to search so much. I mean, he's got even all of these inflammable cards, they all search.
All of them.
I mean, sinful cards, everything, yeah. He really needs like a thrust or talents here. We can see him tapping on the desk. Usually if we're tapping, then, we're coming up with something. Ooh, okay.
Okay. We take a look at the end. Oh, wow.
No, not a great hand by Alessandro.
Interesting hand here.
Yeah, so he wants to double check the the sowing text, because if you put it back, you can't just search it with Dryas, but if you don't have a way to make Dryas, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So just denying any sort of engine might be a good idea. And now the DD Crows are trying to think if they're good against Mikanko.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Weird, not a Mikanko expert, but we'll see if that actually comes up here.
I'm also trying to think, what did you even see about Simon's deck? Right, only,
you
Rota into, what was it? Either
so
probably Gen or Can, but that's it. Yeah. He didn't see any other cards, so if you just thought that he would, maybe just, I mean, to be fair, they're both 8-0. They probably saw each other's deck while they were next to each other for the last few rounds, so maybe he knows more than we do.
Well, if my opponent T-sets after I draw them, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep that in. So
oh, interesting.
Takes away one of the crows here. Maybe he feels he can play through 1 crow, but not 2. Lets him keep the sowing, but okay.
Do we have an anima in the deck for Alessandro?
Alessandro running Anima? Most likely not, right?
Yeah,
The
most
plant-
likely you don't have the space.
Nope.
But
Yeah, the plant
okay.
extra deck is super
Otherwise,
tight here.
the zone positioning from Simon could have been awkward there.
Yeah, so Judge is just double checking some interactions here, so we'll continue play in just a moment. See exactly.
And here we are, for anyone who might have missed it or doesn't remember what was going on. We saw the entire end from Alessandro, and he's just holding into a Diddy Crow talent and sewing at the moment. So
Yeah, if you're just joining us now, Droll and Lockbird has resolved, which has impeded Simon quite heavily here, but Triple Talents was used, putting back a copy of Diddy Crow. So Alessandro's hand now is a Sunvine Sowing, as well as a second copy of the Crow. And another card here. Looks like we're going to go with the Dia Bellstar, sending the Watch, the Wanted from the hand to special summon itself here.
and yeah, this is Mikanko. We can remember that.
This is a
Yeah.
Mikanko deck, by the way. So we'll see what Simon is planning from here.
Obviously still under that draw and lock third, which can significantly limit his plays, but then is good enough. And here just one of the multiple cards that you can special summon with this engine that is played by so many decks at the moment.
Yeah, I think having a deck that has a weakness to a specific hand trap, something like Dimension Shifter, something like Droll, if your deck can afford to just do anything through the combo, then that's also going to be a massive plus. Obviously, Simon wasn't able to pull that off in game one, but game number two here, despite being on the Droll, he is trying to piece together some sort of play here, and this is an interesting card here. It is
Courageous Crimson Chevalier.
Bradamante.
Bradamante it is indeed, and here it is, also a tuner.
Yeah, level 1 tuner being used with the Rise Heart.
Yeah.
That has manipulated its level. Ooh, we're actually going to go for a Link play here, in fact.
Sold.
Isolde is going to be able to special summon from the deck, which does not really care about Droll and Lockbird. Summon a Warrior out. And then potentially, maybe we can still do some Ken and Jen plays, but we'll see.
Shenanigans.
Will it be Knuff?
Oof.
3 cards in hand from Alessandro here, by the way, remember. So if Simon can just do anything, like, he's going to be in a really good spot here. Because Alessandro specifically needs to draw Loci or die off the top right now to be able to mount any kind of counter.
Yeah, and I'm wondering whether still that Diddy Crow makes sense. I felt like maybe the talent could have been also another option if you feel like you set up just one disruption, you know.
Yeah, there it is. We're actually going to be sending 3 here, and I'm pretty sure that will just be the Ken and Jen engine. On top of that, you can actually trigger the Ken and Jen to discard a card from your opponent's hand, and that is going to be another card out of Alessandro's, depending on if Simon decides to go that route. Because I mean, what else would you do, right? Because you can't use the draw portion. So yeah, rip another card out the opponent's hand here. Just reading these Mikanko equips, they all have semi-relevant effects in the graveyard. No Mikankos are currently in circulation, however.
Yeah, and you can tell Simon is really thinking about this because he has to navigate through the draw lockboard, which might not be easy. But yeah, and Alessandro in the meantime that Simon thinks is reading through Simon's cards. Okay.
Yeah, he's doing really well to navigate through this. Okay, he's actually going to go for the Hare, the Sword Mikanko. I think this one sets from the deck. Let's just double check here. If an equip becomes equipped to this, add a Mikanko, so we can't do that. Okay, interesting. Oh, all right. Thrust. Going to set something from the deck here. We didn't really see too many relevant cards that we can go for with this, right? Okay, all right. We are going to go for the Mikanko, the singular trap card that he's playing here. It's the Mikanko Spirit Walk.
Yeah.
So you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and equip that face-up monster to a Mikanko you controls an equip spell. So basically, just stealing a monster your opponent controls, equipping it onto the Hare.
But I think that kind of does it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you normal summon or top deck the Loci, even if it's a special summon with unexpected die, just steal it. And
the best thing is that it's a trap card, so that talent does not matter. And I think this is pretty much it. You don't really need anything else.
Yeah, especially like
Exactly.
with the Fenrir, you know, there's 2 lines of defense here versus an opponent having basically 1 play.
And now play is back to Alessandro. Simon knows. He knows his hand, and so he knows that he doesn't really have to commit anything else. That's it. I like it. And I don't really see any top deck that can save the situation here, unless, you know, he's playing Pot of Desires or any, you know, draw 2 kind of card.
Yeah, you really do need 2 answers to be able to push through here. Even really 3 answers you would need, and that's just not enough cards. We have math on that is not checking out for me.
Nope. But regardless, here we are gonna start things off.
Okay, Duster.
Duster.
But we don't have follow-up, that's the issue.
If only we played that Anima.
Well, he does have the sewing actually, right? But that's not going to get too far through a Fenrir, I think. Because we did put back one of the crows. So Spirit Walk is eliminated. It's a very good top deck, actually, and all things considered.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Still have our sewing special summon from the deck. Did we draw an Ash Blossom potentially? Is that maybe why Simon didn't let it go through? Okay, looks like it is resolving.
Yeah, because why did we get rid of the DD Crow then?
Yeah, none of his plays lost to DD Crow. He didn't really interact with the graveyard at all, so I think just letting your opponent keep the DD Crow and take away the sewing, completely denying them engine, might have been the better play here.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay. We're going to take 1,000 damage here, special summoning out the Loci. Top deck Duster actually super relevant right now.
Yep.
Is he going to get back into this? I don't know. We'll see. Fenrir is going to be putting in some work here. All right, the Dryas is going to activate to search a... I think typically you do play 2 sewing, so we'll get a second one. But then you won't be able to trigger the Dryas. And you definitely don't want this to declare an attack and take any damage, because it will special summon the healer from the extra deck.
Yeah,
and
no
that's
way.
just 2 monsters, but even there, that doesn't really get you too far, except maybe trying to roll the dice with Sylvan Dance Peon. Oh, okay, doesn't activate the effect of the Dryas, of course. So, does take 24 damage from attacking into the defense position. Fenrir.
And I can just hear...
People need to stop summoning
Exactly,
their monsters in defense.
Jessica.
Like,
I was
please stop summoning your monsters in defense
Yeah.
against Rikka. Because now the Dryas gets the trigger because we've taken damage.
Yeah.
And, well, if we put it in attack mode, it would have just fell to the graveyard. But now we can access a Link 2 play, and I think what you can do here is try and go up into Sylvan Dance Peon. If we get lucky enough, you're going to be in serious trouble. No other disruption. The follow-up that Simon has is very, very good, but it's looking a little bit shaky right now because we do need to try and... Okay, the Hare does not have the protection effect of the typical lineup of Mikanko. Normally you take reflected damage here. Let's see. Ah, okay, so it needs an equip card.
Okay.
Right, that's why you can simply attack over this. So no equip cards, nothing on the field here, combining to be able to do that reflect damage. So now Alessandro, main phase 2, probably wants to try and go into... I mean, I think the Sylvan, right? Because in order to get for Jasmine, you need a tribute.
We just roll, right?
Yeah. 3 plants, let's go. Princess, Medan, and Petal. Why not?
That's it. The jackpot.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, declare 3. Okay, no, we're not doing that. Just double checking the text of Hare here.
Probably just checking the life point count in terms of attack, but yeah, we are exactly where we left. Let's see this, Sylvan.
So mill 3 cards from the top of the deck here. I can think of a few cards that are good at that, but let's see if Alessandro can get just as lucky as he needs to be here to try and get through this one.
Could be his day is 8-0.
Yeah, so Simon getting a translation there on the Neuron app, which you can use for translation at events. Bringing up your phone here to check the text and, yeah, declare a number. Is there ever a reason to not just declare 3?
Rarely.
Technically, the whole concept is it stacks your deck with the Sylvan, right? That's the whole gimmick of the deck. So then, if you only want to excavate one, I suppose, like maybe that's the logic. Sure. But in this scenario, in this modern Sunavalon cross of Rikka, you're always going to want to try and go for 3. That's not a plan, that's not a plan, that's not a plan. Misses! All 3 have been whiffed by Alessandro. That is so unfortunate. Even just one would have been very useful. We've given him some sort of lifeline here, but...
And now we can use the Fenrir too, right?
Did he use Fenrir at all? He didn't, right?
No, he didn't. But
okay, all right.
Kind of forgot. But
yeah, I don't think there was nothing to play around.
No, wait. No, that makes sense because he still has the talent, right? Yeah. I think he has talent and Crow in hand, so you don't use it.
That was the last card. Yeah, so it was Crow, Talent, Duster.
Yeah. I think he has
Talent put back one of the Crows.
Yeah, so he has talent, so that makes sense that you wouldn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we do see the DD Crow used right away, and here we could use... Okay, never mind.
Yeah, using the Crow on the equip card to be able to not recycle the Hare back into the hand here.
Yeah, but then we could have used the Fenrir, but whatever.
Yeah, Fenrir probably should have been used here. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. You can wait till you go to the battle phase.
It does not, and it seems like although Simon maybe took a little bit of a risk, we said it was going to be very tough from that point on. Yeah. Alessandro's seen enough.
Alessandro, admittedly, could be all Simon needs if he draws that evenly matched or sphere modes. We'll see exactly how this plays out here. Okay, yeah, we've decided to humbly let our opponent draw their cards first. Let's see what Alessandro's got here. It's all about the important opening hand for Plant. Sometimes it's really weird. It's hard to bridge the deck because there's a lot of one-card starters with Lokai, the die, but then there's a couple of like awkward ones that sort of get you there if you open like the pure Rikka portion of your deck, and there isn't really like any major one-card combos that the Rikka options facilitate, at least not very powerful explosive plays, and not the greatest start here, but Glamour is decent enough to at least get you going. That's huge.
Yeah, and given that Sam is playing 0 interruptions here, I think that it's good news still for Alessandro. Maybe kind of a slow start for him, but this could get things started.
Yeah, it's amazing that in Europe we still haven't figured out how the Rikka cards are. Shoutouts to Simon checking the text on Glamour here. Probably double check it to make sure if it's not required to tribute something, because it does have that little bonus effect.
Yeah, but we're not using it.
Just gonna go for the one singular petal here. Yeah, no, petal adds any card from any Rikka card from the deck to the hand here. Really strong card as well because the recursion that allows the Rikka deck to get a little bit of grind game. It's not very often combo decks have the ability to grind and last multiple turns here, but Rikka Petal has the effect to come back during the end phase of each of your opponent's end phases. It's going to give you a search on your follow-up, so...
Yeah, for now it doesn't seem like the ideal opening, as mentioned, but he's going to try to work with what he has.
You know, it's really funny because if we open something like Sphere Mode, then your opponent just opens on kind of like a simple like Madan pass.
You could lose to it.
Yeah, so you're sitting there with a completely dead Sphere Mode, hypothetically, so...
Yeah, because maybe they can have even the sheet with the Concon and that's it, and that could be enough if... Let's see.
Concon is such a powerful card. Tributes your opponent's monster for cost. Is, yeah, formidable effect, one of the best removals in the game.
And yeah, that's what we are going for, and maybe we might be onto something.
A simple little Concon play here, setting from the deck, most likely gonna get that sheet.
Like a Nambo combo. Yeah. I get that.
It really is.
Yeah. It is a Nambo combo, but does the job. Honest work.
Yeah, it ain't much, but tribute your card, steal your other card is enough to shut down so many decks in Yu-Gi-Oh!
And again, we might see those... okay.
Okay, we got Snowdrop.
There.
Snowdrop allows itself to special summon out of the hand, but also special summon another monster alongside it. One of the ways in which you lock yourselves in this deck into plants.
Oof.
We top deck with Princess. Got a few options here. Do we want to go for a 4? Do we want to go for the 8 play? So manipulating the level on the
Queen.
Snowdrop.
Yep.
Goes for the Strenna. Strenna gives you resources. With the Princess in the graveyard, Princess allows you to tribute your opponent's monster and negate. So this is going to be a negate, a steal, and a tribute. Just
you know,
off of this.
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
And played around both Lava Golem and Sphere mode.
Exactly. That's the most important thing. Is
Obviously on purpose.
yeah. Definitely not accidentally.
Yeah.
You probably want to tribute the Strenna actually on your opponent's turn because it does have that effect to just special summon out of the extra deck the Hypertrion and then attaches itself as a material, and then that gives you a further monster negate. So I think it kind of just depends on what Simon does, where maybe you don't actually need Concon's tribute effect, you'd rather tribute your own monster and get the Hypertrion. But again, it just depends if Alessandro's familiar enough with Mikanko to know if he's ever going to need to go into the tribute for cost or not. Sort of the varied options available to you here.
And yeah, it seems like that's about it. So play might be back to Simon.
Yeah, draws
Let's
return here.
see. Evenly still pretty good,
Yeah.
at least to try and force out some interactions, but let's see.
I think evenly gets rid of half of the interactions. The Princess is in
Yeah.
the graveyard, so considering how much Simon's been reading these Rikka cards, I'd be really worried that he trips up on that. That's a very good start.
Yeah.
Fenrir is able to force out the Concon if
bunch.
necessary, just by itself. Oh, that's quite a preemptive sheet here.
Okay.
But stealing it is really good because now it becomes your disruption.
Yeah.
So you take the
Unless-
Fenrir, use it
unless-
yourself, unless what?
Unless you Lava Golem, because now
unless-
you got two monsters on field. We might see that Lava Golem. Let's see.
Well, it's not Lava Golem. It's wait, does it play Lava Golem in the
does,
main?
it
Okay,
does.
so it's Lava Golem in the main and then Sphere mode in the side. So
Yeah.
that's 6 tributes
That could be a
that
sick
this
play.
deck has. Lava
Yeah.
Golem into summon Mikanko's and crash into it, reflecting multiple thousands of damage.
Yeah, and he's reading it.
Yes.
That could be crazy, honestly. That would be really, really good here.
Yeah, the Rikka Queen is just a straight up tribute your opponent's monster.
Let's see if I manifested it or not.
And by the way, this removes 2 bodies by itself because we technically haven't used the Concon tribute. It's
Yeah.
amazing just how much even just like the Rikka cards do, because people usually complain about how like the Sunavalons, the Sunseed Loci does so much just by itself, but Alessandro proving here that if you can just go with like pure Rikka cards, it's actually really strong just by itself.
Yep.
Right, I'm just hoping at an absolute minimum Simon's recognized the Dance Princess in the graveyard to...
He has a
Oh, that's a
thrust,
huge,
okay.
huge thrust here. A lot of options, honestly. Like, there's genuinely so much here that you can go for. You can... Maybe he might talents back his own Fenrir, potentially.
If he really wants to.
Does
Does he play Duster?
play Zeus also? Yeah, I want to check a bunch of stuff.
Simon.
Yeah, let's have a look through his
no.
spell arsenal
No.
here.
He doesn't play Zeus. But I think talent is, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, most likely talent at this point. Yeah.
Talents is solid. And I think you're definitely going to
the
win.
roll
But again,
once
third,
again.
the draw and lock. Wow.
Once more, Drone Lockbird comes down here.
3 for 3.
3 for 3, 3 games in a row. No searching past this point here.
Wow.
Even if we wanted to dig through our deck to try and draw, that's not going to be available. However, Simon rolls up his sleeves, and when a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist rolls up their sleeves and starts playing cards, things get really serious. As we activate this talent, most likely to take. That's going to trade 1 for 1, and it really is just a case of how much can Simon's deck do under this droll with the remaining 4 in our hand here. Okay, so I see. That's kind of cool. Alessandro's actually detached the material from the teardrop and removing the Fenrir so that it cannot be used as disruption against him. But it just kind of works out the same way, I suppose.
It's similar, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now he's
Prevents a Zeus, maybe.
he doesn't have any more interruptions, I guess, right? So
Not that we know of.
And there
Discards
was the
Sphere mode. He was
Sphere
actually
mode.
running it.
Yeah.
It was actually, I did actually draw it. That's the wrong one. Right?
Yep.
You should have drawn Lava Golem.
He was there.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
It's not often you see Sphere mode but here it is. And this is one of the best decks for it, so... And now it's time for the Sinful Spoils. Diabellstar is a really, really strong engine seen in Age of Overlords. It's been a massive part of the Rescue Ace engine and a massive part of that deck's consistency. We haven't seen too much of it on the stream this weekend. Probably we'll be seeing a decent amount of it into Top Cut tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow early, bright, for 9 a.m. Central European time. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. He opened 2 copies of Sphere Mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's a second one in his hand there. And that's the last playable card I think he's got access to, which is Hewley.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. You actually like want your opponent to have monsters in situations like this, but we'll see if he can do any further combos, because the last remaining
with the Sphere
play
Mode,
is the yeah.
He has a Snake Eye.
Send the other card to the field and go and special with the original Sinful Spoils. Curious to see where he goes from that. Probably just access into more warrior plays with the Isolde potentially.
I think that will be the line. Maybe he really wants to go for that. He's considering it.
I think it's just counting as well, because like, I mean, there are 13 minutes, but he could try and push if there is no other interruption from Alessandro. Maybe there is a way to deal, you know, some significant amount of damage here.
13 minutes on the clock is a decent amount of time to play here. I don't think this one is probably going to be concluded by that, but
no,
we'll see. We'll see. But
if, for example, you manage to, I mean, obviously you're trying to go for game, but if, for example, you manage to push something along the line of 5,000 life points or anything like that, then your opponent might have a hard time, you know, dealing enough damage the next turn. So that can also be a way to win this one out.
yeah, I think Simon's going to get a significant amount of damage here through. So,
For sure.
calculating what the best target is for the Sinful Spoil, I think it probably is just going to go for the level 1 tuner.
Yeah, you can tell he's definitely making some mats here, because do you think is there a way he can push enough for damage?
I'm really wondering, because it's the fact that he doesn't have any monsters. And typically, like, so much of your damage comes from your Mikankos doing the reflected damage, but I don't think he really needs to go for game, right? If he can get that set up, then that's really the most important thing here. Okay, just to update the players, there's going to be an extra 3 minutes on the clock here. Playing at a little bit of a slower pace, so we are getting a slow play warning, and extra time will be added onto the clock here.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously, you know, it's the final round of day 1. You're both EXO, you really want to maintain that perfect record, and you want to make sure and you get every single play perfect down to the T. But do have to respect the state of the game and try and play at a pace that is reasonable for you and your opponent.
I think Simon has a plan, because yeah, he's really having a big think on this one.
That's telling me it doesn't have a plan, actually. And it's just trying to improv with what he's got, yeah. Yeah, this doesn't sound like it. And you cannot go for Isolde with those. No. This might be, yeah. You have committed to play
yeah,
at this
he's made a play now. He has to
yeah,
link
but
that
this
off.
time you can't go for Isolde anymore. And this might actually be quite the poor decision if he doesn't have another warrior.
Yeah, that's a small amount of damage.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go for Isolde, then you can still go for the same. Oof, is that it?
Yeah, I think like at the minimum we should probably went into the battle phase prior to this, deal a little bit of damage, and then link up into the SP. SP, decent amount of. SP is a decent amount of interruption. Oh, we're linking off here?
Now. Interesting.
Well, it turns out SP is a warrior, so you can actually keep going.
Yeah, but again, why would you not do it first? I don't know.
Why did why did we go to the battle phase first?
Yeah. I mean, as mentioned, it looked as if he was panicking a little bit, and when you get a slow play warning, obviously you can't take your time again, because then it's most likely updated to a game loss. So maybe the tension is getting to Simon. He's used to the Fisherman stage, but yeah, this is tough.
Yeah, you can definitely sense that he's tripping up a little bit now. It's unfortunate, but he's still trying to make the best of it. Admittedly, he has cleared most of the threats. I think the next important thing really is to deal with the con-con. If you can get rid of that con-con, I think Simon will still be in a solid spot, despite the fact that we are still on the Droll and Lockbird, remember, so no searching going to be used here.
At the same time, though, Rikka is very sneaky. In the end phase, you get back the petal and you have the princess, so it's not like you are completely out of resources, and he's still holding into at least 3 cars, I believe. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be quite easy to force out anything that this Hare does, because you can just like use the princess, use the con-con to remove the activation requirement by...
Is that really it?
Is that it? All right, we're gonna hit princess. Is that 2 princess in the grave though?
Okay.
No, he's gonna hit the petal actually. Okay, he's gonna let him keep the princess and try and stem the recursion that petal's gonna offer here.
Yeah.
Wow. I think if he was able to end on the Mikanko trap and get rid of the petal, I think he'd be in a really solid spot, but that's just not enough.
And yeah, unfortunately, as mentioned, the thing is, the order was what pretty much was messed, unfortunately, by Simon, because if he went first for the assault and then for this line, he still would have done the same, but he would have had a lot more resources around. Unfortunate, but now, yeah, as you can see here, Alessandro already had the glamour, so this is not a surprise. And he's just pretty much free to do whatever he wants, and I don't think there is much. We know that Simon does not play any entrap.
Nope. And
so
yeah, he might be able to push enough damage here, because Simon's left with 1 card.
This is surely enough, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go through it. As long as you can get 4 materials, then it's Thrasher, Malias, which is 84, 82, I think. Yeah, and then you can recycle back with the Strenna here. Strenna add back. Probably go for a Medan tribute special, send special, get the Hypertrion, and probably just go from there, really. You don't even need to like push too much damage, honestly. You just have to control the field, and I think did we add back Teardrop? Yeah, we did. Yep, special summon Teardrop, get the body at the hand here. The Strenna gets to activate in the graveyard, tribute, special summon out a Hypertrion. And Simon just doesn't have anything left.
Yeah,
you know, we got 1 card in hand. The Little Knight was dealt with very easily with the Con-Con. Resetting with the Con-Con, activating the effect of the Hypertrion in response because we use the spell cards. Now we have a spell and Monster Negate. Don't need to do any damage, really. Just control the field, keep poking, and then get him over 2 turns if you need to. It's really not that big of a deal here. It's going to be a bit of a formality for Alessandro here as he progresses through this. Yeah, just double checking the text here and the translation for the Strenna, clarifying exactly how that works with a continuous spell.
Everything
in
order.
I think the confusion there was, can you attach a spell after using a continuous spell rather than activating a spell? Remember, there's a difference between activating and using the effect of.
But yeah, as mentioned, this is a very good show of the deck and why the deck keeps on performing well. And although Simon is still technically in this, it looks like Alessandro will be the one who will advance with a 9-0 record to day 2 with Rikka once again.
I would say that I'm shocked and surprised, but I'm really not. There's always going to be some Rikka hero who's taken it all the way deep into top cut. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a decent amount of Alessandro tomorrow or any other plant player. This deck is, yeah, it looks so seamless in the way that it just masterfully takes down so much of the fields. The Con being a massive factor of just controlling and tributing for cost, controlling with sheet, the resource management, the grind game. It really, the deck does have everything. Its weakest matchups generally are spell and trap related. Labyrinth, for example, I think is very, very good against this deck. There's not too many ways to disrupt. Typically, you end on things like Bengal Lancer, tributing and stealing monsters. I mean, you don't really care about that if you're playing a trap deck. So that's really like the major weakness of the deck. And as we talked about earlier, there's so many high-profile duelists this weekend on Labyrinth, and a lot of them are still in.
Yeah. Very good players as well, and with high scores, and maybe we will see them tomorrow in action. And I think Alessandro entered battle phase, right?
Yeah, Simon will get to live another turn, but in a very tough spot at the moment. Let's see this top deck.
Well, what can we possibly draw here? We need something to follow up and a starter in our hand, as well as maybe the sphere mode that we already had, that we saw earlier. So that's something. Okay.
Okay.
Now, admittedly, that dealt with every single disruption and removed the ability to use sheet, I believe. Can you use sheet with any Rikka card, or does it need to control a Rikka monster?
Let me check.
No, you don't really need anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We got the equip spell coming down here, activating to bring back Hare. Hare gonna activate the effect here to search out Fire Dance. Do we still have some resources here? Can Simon still stay in this?
Yeah, that's fear mode once again, maybe.
Yeah, so mixed it up there. I thought he just discarded sphere mode. He had the second one.
Yeah.
Plus engine here to follow up. Simon is making a bit of a comeback, it looks like. All right, let's see how far we can get out of this. We're going to use the banish effect of the sinful spoil in the graveyard, return Bellstar, and draw. And there's some good top decks in this Mikanko list here.
Yeah, I mean, the sheet is really good still, but that's pretty much the only interruption from Alessandro. And I think there might be a preparation of rights in Simon's end. Let's see. Time is kind of limited, but the life points gap is not that large. Maybe there's a chance here.
Yeah,
like
Simon can potentially get any sort of damage in. It's going to be pretty strong. I'm curious about his zone placement, because I'm wondering how he's going to actually out the sphere mode.
Yeah.
Because you actually can't target it for attacks, or target it in general, I think, right? It's actually kind of a nuisance to deal with, but I think if he puts it in the middle zone, he can swap the control with the transverser. But yeah, we'll see what he does here. Simon just needs to deal not too much. Okay, double check the text on the Hypercheon that was tributed off here to make sure that it doesn't float back into anything. Yeah, no grave effect on the Hypercheon. Fire Dance. That was searched off of the Hara here. Let's see where this is going to get us.
Yeah, and Simon is back on play, honestly. And,
absolutely.
Not expecting this at all, but with, you know, the last 10 in the graveyard with the Mayuashidori. I tried to pronounce it, but might have lost it.
Oh, did he special summon Huli from... Did we have Huli in the hand?
Everything was in the grave, yeah.
Oh, was the Huli in the grave? Yeah, so Fire Dance special summon hand or graveyard. Special summon the Huli out the graveyard. You can summon a monster to your opponent's field here.
He's going off.
Why? Yeah. I'm curious why Simon didn't summon back a monster to Alessandro's field. Is it to stop the activation requirement or something of the sheet? Like the sheet still is usable.
No, you can always use it,
Yeah.
And you can just tribute a monster your opponent controls because of the con and just take another one. So basically it gets rid of 2 monsters at the moment. Doesn't really have a requirement outside of that.
So I'm thinking we try and do something utilizing the Mikanko damage into giving your opponent back a big monster with a Fire Dance. But Concon is going to be a real issue because you can tribute the Huli to steal the Fire Dance, but I'm wondering, are you allowed to activate Sheet when you have the targeting protection of Huli? Because if you can't if you can't target...
No, if you can't target, you can't use it.
So we can't use the Sheet.
If you can't target any monsters, no.
Yeah, so he doesn't have an activation requirement, right?
Yeah, because first you target and then you tribute. So
well, because so I think the issue is because we have a legal target of Renaud, right? So we could tribute the Huli, then you can target the okay.
Yeah, if you have a legal target, you can, yeah. But essentially, the only one, the first one is the one you will take. And then you can tribute anyone without targeting.
All right. I'm wondering if maybe Alessandro could have used that sheet just now, but I think letting him extend a little bit here is fine. Oh, that's why we put it in this zone. Okay. Oh, I thought he was going for Anima. Never mind. Never mind.
That would also target, right?
Okay, so the Fire Flint Lady plus the Renaud going into Hita. And then climbing up into a Link 4.
Access code?
That's...
Is this access code?
I don't think any of this protects from Sheet. Right?
Yeah, I don't think we're missing something, right? Or
What? He didn't use it. Oh. That was not even... I don't know, that was probably not Sheet.
Have we been sitting here stressing about Sheet for no reason?
Yeah,
I thought he added back with Strena.
Wow.
So we flashed it, basically.
Yeah, we completely flashed it.
But why did we think there was a sheet?
I thought he returned it back with the Strena.
Yeah.
Okay. Going for the follow-up Glamour instead there. I guess Alessandro didn't expect Simon to mount any comeback there, but if the Strena just returned the sheet there, we would have been on, like, such a better position here.
And this is completely turned around by Simon, who can now, that he's ahead in life, activate this preparation of rights. And does he have enough to continue comboing off right here? Seems like it.
I don't think... did we use our battle phase?
Yeah, we did. He's ahead now.
Okay, yeah, 2100 life remaining for Alessandro.
This seems like it's actually Simon who pulled it off.
Less than 1 minute left on the clock. Wow. Here we got the preparation for the Ohime. We can go for ceremony. Ceremony special summon the Ohime from the hand. Get some more resources. Set up a steal on the opponent's turn. Simon is in a really commanding spot right now. And still has the effect of the access code, removing the last final resource from Alessandro, destroying the field spell. This is so hype how he's managed to come back through here. Wow, this is a match. This is a match.
Yeah, impressive, honestly. Yeah, looks like as it was almost about to win the game, Alessandro, and then suddenly Simon turned it basically on his
Sphere
favor.
mode. Sphere mode was the MVP by far of this match, and yeah, it seems like time is about to be
3, 2, 1. Time called. Bring back the Hara here. And
that's
time
it.
is called. GG.
Wow.
That's it. Fist bump. Alessandro actually faltering here to the Mikanko.